Sorry, Denny?
Ham Radio Deluxe does decode CW. The Digital Master, yeah, I've been playing with it. I use primarily PSK31, but I have monitored some CW with it, and it seems to work over. I haven't tried communicating, so I would imagine it can transmit as well as receive. Obviously, it receives. It decodes CW, I should say.
Right.
Turned me off when they asked for $100 for the program.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Well, I coughed it up back in the day. But, you know, like when I was in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, lots of contesters came down there. You know, I mean, everybody and their dog wants to work Guantanamo Bay, you know, because it's its own country. And, you know, the guys down there, when they were working CW, basically, the computer sent the CW, they decoded it, you know, in their head or whatever, and logged it or whatever. But, you know, they used the computer to send it. And of course, that was over a parallel port interface back in the day. You know, we're talking the 90s, you know. So, yeah, definitely way more primitive than what we've got today.
But HRD, they want maintenance, wants you to pay for maintenance updates now.
I
well.
haven't had them bug me for that, but, you know, I don't.
No.
If, you know, I use like, if I'm doing a contest, I use the N1MM. And if I'm doing like everyday logging or whatever, I'll use the logbook that's built into Ham Radio Deluxe. But
my only problem with N1MM, if I'm looking for a new template to install, and I got to go through this list of database templates that they supply, and they're not in any kind of alphabetic order, it seems.
Right.
You're scrambling through the whole list, and it's lengthy. You're
talking about the
list.
Templates for the various contests, right?
That's right, exactly.
Yeah, there's quite a list, and sometimes it can be hard to find the right one for sure.
And I really wish they'd bring in an upgrade to allow you to read the frequency off your radio as well, up in the VHF and UHF regions as well.
Oh yeah, I never really paid much attention to that. You know, mine's interface, so you know, on HF it logs the exact frequency, which is really
no problem
handy.
with HF.
You know,
problem with HF.
You know, if you're hunting and pecking or whatever, you know, search and pounce or whatever you want to call it, and you've worked a guy on a certain frequency, it pops up on the screen when you pass that frequency again. So it's I really like that. It's very handy, but I didn't notice, you know, I don't spend that much time in the UHF or VHF part.
Or VHF, yeah.
To realize that. I didn't know it didn't read the exact frequency up there.
Well, if I have any troubles with the N1MM, then I will switch over to N3FJP, because I have a number of his programs all set up.
What radio do you have, Bob?
Pardon?
What radio do you have? What radio do you have?
The FTDX10.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's got two USB ports for operating as well, for the CAT interface. Yeah.
Right, and it doesn't read the frequency, the exact.
Oh, it reads the frequency fine.
On the UHF.
For NIM, you've only got the HF frequencies listed.
Oh.
Okay. And if you're working VHF, it says what's 2 meters?
It's VHF or whatever. Right.
That's about it. Yeah. So just a thought, you know.
Well,
okay,
let me finish this
go ahead,
conversation. So, last thing which I would like to show to you, as you remember, at the end of the October we have Worldwide Championship. It happened every year. Last year, not last year, 2020, our club operated in this contest. Manitoulin operated by Victor Echo 3 Echo Tango Echo Bob, Victor Echo 3 Whiskey Victor Alpha, also V3 Oscar United India, and I operated from the Arctic Victor Echo 2 Italy Delta X-ray. So it was like 4 logs which was submitted to the contest committee. This is main event of the year. This is Worldwide Championship. And it was, I don't know why it was so long, but I got it only a couple of weeks ago. And let me share screen. I'll show it to you. So this is CQWW. This is web page cqww.com, and I'm going to the club score. CQWW 2020. Submit, and so this is a bunch of the clubs which operated in the Worldwide Championship. It was more than this is 300 clubs, and when we assign Manitoulin, this is like 248 place, like 4 logs. This is our first time operation as a club to the Worldwide Championship, and we assigned point to the map. So this is what I got last news for the CQWW club score for the 2020. So this year it will be again, SSB tour will be in October, last weekend of the October. I will operate from Arctic one more time, going to the Setil Zone 2, call sign V2 IDX, and I think it will be a good possibility to put Manitoulin to the map one more time. Need 4 logs at least. I think this is not big deal to make 10 QSO during the contest and submit to the contest committee. Okay, this is all what I do have for now. Thank you very much for your attention, and I am returning microphone to Al.
All right. Well, thank you so much there indeed, Igor. A lot of good information in that. It's something that I haven't explored too much in regards to the digital communications. Like everyone else, I have the equipment here, and I have the FL Digi and WSJT downloaded on my computers, but I just haven't bothered with it. I've been more tied up with the VHF, UHF, digital D-Star, System Fusion, DMR, all that stuff. But very interesting indeed, and something that we can explore. And if we can add that to our field day a situation, then slowly work it into a contest for those that are interested in doing it. I think it's great. As you said, way back we needed all these external devices to hook up to our rigs, but a lot of the newer rigs, anybody that's got like the 7300 or the 991 like Rusty said, or the new 10 like Bob's got, and that, they're all built in. Everything's built in now. So however, having said that, even though, as a lot of you know, a couple of weeks ago I did the remote software presentation and that, and oh my God, you talk about configuring the software for remote operations. It's not easy, like you said, and some of the other people, think Andy, CIV configurations and that with some of these radios, if you're not familiar with it. Once you get it, it seems to work well, and we had a good example the other night. I was tied up on a council Zoom meeting, and Elliott Lake ran their sideband and nets there, and we both had Tom from Sudbury and Ted log into my radio and check into the nets because their home stations couldn't connect with Elliott Lake, where I was lucky enough to connect, and they were able to check in with it. So there's access with it, and certainly if we get to travel, and eventually, as Igor was mentioning, we're looking at maybe putting a club station together, remote station, and that may be quite interesting to eventually operate. There's a lot of bugs to work out in it, but once you do, it's not too bad. Now, I wanted to make an announcement at the beginning of the get-together this morning. So before a lot of you clear out, I know a lot of you at noon tend to take off. I just want to remind everybody, next Saturday is our swap shop. Okay. So just a reminder for that, we're going to run a swap shop next Saturday. I'm going to give everybody a block of time if you want it. If you've got stuff around your shack that you're looking to download or looking to sell, you'll have a 5 or 10 minute window, whatever you need, and give you opportunity to show and tell your items. You know, I'm selling this Tim Hortons plastic cup, a coffee cup. If anybody is interested, give me a phone call or whatever the case is, and you know, we can do that. If you're looking for something, then your block of time, if there's something you particularly want, ask away, because you never know. Somebody wasn't thinking of selling it, but all of a sudden you're asking for an antenna switch, or you're asking for a SWR meter, or you're asking for a chunk of coax, or you're asking for connectors, or you're, you know, whatever the item may be. All of a sudden may look around saying, "Oh, geez, this thing's been collecting dust for 3 years here. I haven't used it." Yeah, I'll sell it to you. You know, so we'll do that next weekend. Anyway, before you take off, have a look around your shack this week. If you have items, that's fine. If you don't have anything, check in and see what's up for sale, and we'll go from there and have some fun with that. It may turn out to be good. It may turn out to be nothing, but we'll see
Al,
what we get.
does the coffee cup have coffee in it, or is it empty?
No, it's empty,
Oh,
but
well.
you get a bargain.
Okay.
Okay, you get a
Now-
bargain if no
now, are you-
coffee.
Al, are you going to auction that coffee cup off
No, there's
for
no
fundraising
auction.
purposes?
No. Give me
Buy
a phone
now.
call and I'll give you a really good deal. All right.
Yeah, he'll
And
wash the cup for you.
Even the stains, okay, it'll go with it. It's a package deal, right?
No, I want it washed.
No.
You gotta wash the cup,
No.
Al.
It's
That'll
used.
cost you
It's
extra,
used.
Doug. That'll cost you
Used.
extra.
Used
Yeah,
cup.
You got to prove that it's used, Doug.
Well, that'll be
So-
the teeth marks around the edge there, looking for the free pass or something.
It'll lose its patina if you wash it.
Yeah, there you go.
Exactly.
And
Whatever you do, don't lose the patina.
And having said that, let's try and keep it to electronic amateur radio wise. I don't want you bringing out your antique clock or something like that, or your, you know, something that way. Though you may use it for Zulu time or
No birds,
something like
Janice. No birds.
keep the animals away. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Anyway, no, that was great. Thank you so much, Igor, for that presentation. Something to look at, you know, and have fun. Like some of you said, you hook up. I think Doug mentioned, you know, you hook up the computer to it and let it run itself, and bing, zing, 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 zing. You know, all your connections are made, and you've worked the world in 4 hours. You know, I mean, it's every country in the world maybe. So it's a different mode. It's a lot of fun, and yeah, it's good that way. And like I said, I would have presented it earlier, but I know nothing about it. So I thank you, Igor, for doing the homework and sharing some of your experience. And if anybody online wants to give an example or a test some week, then just let me know. We'll put you on board, and you can hook up your computer to online there and give it a try that way. So, but it works good. It's kind of like that remote software we did a couple of weeks ago, and that with it. I mean, it works pretty slick. You know, like I said, I was sitting here on my Zoom conference, similar to this, and off my peripheral vision, I've got my 9700 there, and all of a sudden I'm seeing lights flashing on it, and things are going, and frequencies changing, and you know, transmitting going on. I'm going, what the, you know, heck? And there it is, Tom and Ted there playing around with my radio. So
Think
But,
that's the drugs now.
it helps. It helps. You got to get the medication right, as you know, Janice. You get that screwed up, and then
Oh, yeah.
It makes it difficult anyway. All right, let's open it up then. Anybody else have any other further questions for Igor? Or it can be on contesting, logging, maybe the FT8, or anybody else want to share information, your experiences with it, or any other questions on any topics? I want to thank the response that I got on the scanner presentation last week. I thought, oh, nobody's really going to be. My phone's been ringing off the wall and emails, and I think 4 or 5 of you went out and got scanners last week, and that with it. And Rusty and I had an interesting thing. He had a gentleman come to it, and really interesting scanner that we dealt with yesterday. Rusty was over at the QTH, and we were trying to get it programmed. Somebody went out and bought one of those Uniden CB scanner combinations. Have you got it there, Rusty? Or did he come and pick it up? Maybe Rusty can show it to you if he's still got it. Anyway, very interesting. It's a 40-channel CB radio, but built into it is a Uniden zip scanner, which means you can punch in the zip codes. It's got the GPS hookup to it. Here it is here. If Rusty, you're going to have to unmute so you get the big screen. I'll let you talk about it for a second or so.
Okay, well, it's it's kind of a cool thing. I don't have power hooked up to it. It wouldn't take much to hook some power up to it, but it's well, the first thing right off the bat, I mean, it comes preloaded. It's got an SD card slot. I much prefer the SD card slot rather than trying to get the damn. I'm programming a TYT radio for somebody, and dummy boy here didn't realize the difference between a speaker jack on the back and a data port on the front of the radio. It helps when you hook it up to the data port. Anyway, I ended up making a donation to RT software, RT Systems programming software last night for nothing. I didn't need it because friggin' Chirp did it just fine after I plugged it into the right damn hole. Because I spent, well, it was $25. It ended up being about $34 Canadian. And I bought the RT Systems software last night, and I installed it, and it didn't work. Said it couldn't find the radio, and I'm like, what? But on the screen that popped up there said, you plug it into the data port on the front of the radio. And I'm like, shit, I didn't even see the data port on the front of the radio. Anyway, SD card, very much the way to go. But they've got it's a special piece of software just for this radio, and it will update the information on the SD card. And it wouldn't run on my computer. This computer, it wouldn't run. It wouldn't install. I was on the phone with Uniden for, I don't know, a couple of hours, about an hour, and they couldn't offer me any advice. And I didn't think about it, but I took my laptop over to Al's and downloaded it there and installed it. It ran just perfect on my laptop. So, but it didn't want to run on this damn computer for some reason. But like Al mentioned, it's a zip scanner. So you just basically put your zip code in there, and it will, everything that's, within, you might have to go in and manually tweak the file to get the distance out there. I think by default, it only does like 25 miles or something like that. But it comes with a GPS puck also, and it's the same GPS puck that you get with, it was about $500 for this thing, but if you buy just a digital zip scanner, you're going to end up spending that amount of money on it too. But, you would be better off with just a scanner, because this is like an all-in-one type thing, and it doesn't do as good a job as something that's like a dedicated scanner would. But if you've got the GPS puck hooked up and it's got a signal, a fix on the satellites, it's just like traveling, it changes as you travel. It, switches talk groups, frequencies, everything. It knows where in the hell it is. So it's pretty cool, and I was kind of excited to get a chance to play with it. And if you do happen to get one, we had it hooked up yesterday at Al's place to an outdoor antenna, and we were trying to listen to just the weather station up on McLean's Mountain, and it was full signal strength. But it sounded like it was off frequency. It was weird. And the OPP and stuff that was coming in on it, it was unintelligible. You couldn't understand it at all. And when I was playing with it on the bench over here the other day before I took it over to Al's, the audio was perfect. You know, it was great. Come to find out, you got to have the damn microphone plugged into it. I didn't have the mic plugged into it at Al's place. But the audio, you know, it must route something through the microphone, because if you do not have the mic hooked up to it, it sounds like dog crap. You can't you can't decipher a thing. But anyway, yeah, I was kind of, and he called me the day before and he told me what he got. And this is the only one. If you Google, you know, CB radio with a built-in scanner or whatever, this is it. You know, this is the only one. So I downloaded the manual and had a look at it and everything. I kind of knew what he was bringing me when he showed up with it. And he ended up buying it at Radio World. I don't know. I didn't check the price at Radio World. It's like $3.99 US on United's website, but they were out of stock or something. So, you know, like I said, I think it's about hair over $500 or something at Radio World, I think. But anyway, yeah, that was kind of cool. Plug the microphone in it if you want it to work. So.
Yeah. So kind of an interesting device, you know, whether or not though I kidded the other day on one of the roundtables or that we should start our own CB club as an offshoot of the Manitoulin group, but I don't think we want to go there. But anyway, it was a nice sounding CB. I hooked it up to my Alpha Delta antenna here. And oh my God, you know, that channel 6, whatever it was coming in, and you know, some of the other higher frequencies. It was just full scale there yesterday off it. So CB is alive and well, I guess. But anyway, there you go. So
is that
any trucker channel you want to listen to, eh?
Well, I guess.
Well, we didn't hear anything on 19, but we heard stuff on 6. That's supposed to be the Super Bowl channel. It's got nothing to do with football, but and then there was a few others. I think
higher ones. Yeah.
Somebody had mentioned 38. I think it might have been Andy or something mentioned channel 38. I think we heard a little bit of activity on that, and then maybe 16 or something.
They're using a lot of VHF channels. 168.94 is one of their frequencies. But they're using a lot of VHF channels rather than CB channels.
Yeah, what are they doing up there, though? You know, they're not supposed to be up there. I'm programming a TYT radio for a customer. He's a trucker. You know, he's going to be doing the ice road thing and everything and all this stuff. And, you know, the logging roads, like you're taking your life in your hands if you're going, you know, up and down these ice roads or these logging roads and you don't have any way to monitor the traffic there, you know, whether you transmit or not. You got to get the hell out of the way. You know, like there's mile markers or whatever, and they announce their mile marker in which direction they're heading and all this stuff. And you need to get the hell out of their way because, you know, it's like 1-lane roads and everything. So, anyway, so, and that's a very much a gray area. There's one channel they call the 144. I'm going to, hold on, unmute, so I don't have to hold the space bar. They call it the 144, and I think it might be because of Highway 144 or something, but it's 163.380 or something like that, I think.
So this is, you can go to ISED Canada, Government of Canada, and what the government has done is, and since we're, you know, talking about truckers who are in the news recently, there's common logging radio frequencies, not only in Northern Ontario, but right across Canada. If you've ever watched the show Ice Road Truckers, that used to be on the History Channel or whatever, if you've ever watched that show, you'll notice that up on their thing, they've got a Kenwood VHF radio up there. I mean, to the average person out there, they just think it's a CB or something, but you know, I noticed it. Oh, he's running Kenwood and he's on channel 2 or on channel 3 or whatever. And what they do is they call out on those frequencies because they're very narrow, as you've watched on the television, and they don't want to go around a curve and go head on to another
Sounds like
trucker.
the roads in West Virginia. or
Yeah.
the way they used to be. You
Absolutely.
had to, went around a corner, you had to blow your horn going around the corner so you didn't meet anybody coming the other direction.
Yeah, I know. So they've allowed 8 frequencies in the VHF range. These are the frequencies for Ontario. And they
That
are
number-
active as hell. They're
Number
like
3.
listening to a CB channel.
Lots of activity on
And
number 3.
now
That's
it's
the one- that's the
strictly
144.
simplex. Strictly simplex, and you can run up to 50 watts. Most of the radios that they purchase are commercial radios, and they get these particular frequencies plugged in. Here on Manitoulin, North Shore, Sudbury area, channel 3, 163, 980, constant. Absolute all kinds. So if you've got a scanner, plug that frequency into it, you'll hear all kinds of activity.
And that's
And
very
activity-
much, I think that frequency is actually registered to William Day out of Sudbury. You know, they, I don't know what all they're into, but I think they used to be waste management or something, but, you know, so
Well, they're
who's authorized to
construction.
transmit it?
Well, and others are on there because I hear the constructions, and it's like, what beeping time are you going to be at beeping location? What beeping are you having for lunch? Like, it's just, oh my God. It's like you're listening to Channel 19 CB on there. So, you know, I mean, doesn't appear to be policed or anything, but there's all kinds of stuff. So I'm sure if we were in Ottawa or Windsor and punched in these frequencies down there, there'd be nothing but activities. And the thing is, simplex on 50 watts, a lot better than 4 watts on CB channel 19, right? So they're going to get a lot longer range. And from my base antenna, I can hear them going along 17 all the time. No problem at all. Back and forth. So just something that you may be kind of interested in. Anyway, you can Google it. It's Northern Ontario Logging Channels, and it'll take you to this common logging radio frequencies. And if you do Canada, it'll give you British Columbia. Oh my God, there's got to be 50 channels in British Columbia for the logging roads up in northern BC. And
44, actually.
Is there? Okay.
Yeah.
We've already checked it out. So,
Yeah,
and
it's
you can
already in the
see.
radio.
So
It's already
channel,
in the-
channel 3 here, it says the districts of Cochrane, Algoma, Sudbury, Temiskaming, Nipissing, Manitoulin, and Parry Sound. Part of the district of Kenora, north of Red Lake, Highway 17 extending east to Pembroke, north to Highway 60, and all of Algonquin Park. So all over Ontario, that channel 3 is very active, and that's where they seem to be, at least in this area anyway, hanging out. So, all righty. Any other questions or items?
I'm pretty happy I found my SDR. I found the little bag that had it in it the other day. It was
Oh,
sitting
the
underneath
SDR
shelf.
play. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, this is the one that's in the metal box, and you know, Pat's got one very similar, except I think his might. I don't know if this one's got 2 receivers in it or not. I don't know. It's got 2 antennas. I think it's a single receiver. I think Pat's got the one with the dual receivers in it. But it's not. But this is a couple $100 US, $199 or something at HRO or something back in Dayton back in like I don't know 2017, 20. You know, it was one of the last times I went to Dayton. Which, yeah, 29. I might have gone in 2019. I'm not sure. But,
Don't forget to mention, Rusty, when you're running those, you need some horsepower with the computer.
oh my, yeah, they do make software for the Raspberry Pi for this. You can load it on a Raspberry Pi, but that Raspberry, well, it was I think I tried to load it on a 3 or something, and it just dogged the hell out of it. It was just very sluggish, didn't work well at all, you know, where on a computer it's very responsive, you know. Yeah, so you know, a Raspberry Pi 4 with like 8 gig of RAM or something might run it okay, but the 3 when
I tried it on my computer, remember after I bought it, you were with us down in Toronto?
yes.
And my computer that I had, my laptop, just didn't have the horsepower to run it.
Right, yeah.
So make sure if you buy with something like that, or I've got the Duo, make sure
Yeah.
your computer can handle it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very important too.
Well,
Just before I forget, I just want to do another break. I want to welcome Ward V3WGK. I noticed that you just checked in. If anybody is familiar with the Procom net, this is the net control on some of the nights. Ward checks in across the province and does a phenomenal job controlling that net right across the province. And
good
nice
to
to
see you,
see you,
Ward.
Ward. So welcome aboard our group. We're here every Saturday morning. Glad you got the link and come on in and say a few words there. Nice to see you.
Oh, I'm glad I was able to pop in here. I do have a call with my daughter coming up at 12. I'm going to pop out at that time. But I'm
Right.
really glad I was able to get in here and looking forward to the net again tomorrow. We've had some fabulous evenings with the Procom, and I've recognized several people here that have checked in to the Procom net. So it's good, and I do thank you very much. And I'm glad I was able to pop in, and hopefully I can do it again next weekend as well. If you go next weekend as well. Back to you, Alan. Thank you.
Okay,
See you,
buddy.
Ward.
Well, good to see you indeed. We haven't seen each other. We usually bump into each other at all the flea markets there and that. And of course, with COVID, we haven't got out and around. But I just noticed you on there flipping through the boxes here, and great to have you with us, Ward. We're here every Saturday morning. Have you got what I can do? Um, Give me your, I don't know how you may have got on the distribution list or not, but I can add you to it. And if you can make it some Saturdays, definitely you're more than welcome. And if you can't, send me off a quick email and I'll add you to the list. V3AJB at vianet.ca or rack.ca. Either one will get me.
Okay, great. I appreciate that, Al.
Okay, thanks, Ward. Anyway, good to see you. And talking about flea markets, just to add, I was watching some YouTube videos last night and early this morning before our Zoom, and it looks like Hamcation 2022 is definitely doing well. They're off to the races there, and it looks like it's funny, the last one they had was 2020, which I had the pleasure along with Pat and Ken. I saw Ken was on here. I don't know if he's still with us or not, but he and Ken and I and my son Brian, we went and joined the just before COVID that broke out in March. We were there in February, had a fabulous time. And I guess they're back full at it this year. Of course, Florida has been very lenient on some of the restrictions. Some people were wearing masks. If you go to YouTube and just Google Hamcation 2022, you'll see that a lot of the YouTuber gangs are there, and they've been doing walkthroughs and doing a lot of neat stuff there. So it looks like things are starting to come back there. Hopefully, a month from now, there's not a bunch of people sick. But anyway, we'll have to wait and see. And it sounds like Dayton is sounding like a good go. And depending on how the restrictions go and the government lets up on stuff, may be a little easier to get across borders back and forth a month from now or whatever. But we'll have to wait and see.
Al,
So
question?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
May I ask before we leave the Procom that what I'm not familiar with it. Would you describe it for me?
Absolutely. The Procom net is the provincial communications net. Ward is just one of a few net controllers that run it. Ward is I guess, the net manager of the net. It's provincial communications, and it uses a bunch of linking repeater, FM analog repeater networks, including IRLP, Echo Link, there's Asterix All-Star nodes, and we're connected to it via two repeaters or nodes on Manitoulin. We've got our Simplex node, 146.55, All-Star Link. And then we have our IRLP link on 444.400. Sudbury's connected in, as is all over the province. Ward could probably tell you as the number of repeaters, but the SORT, Southern Ontario Repeater Team, the URU, Repeater Network, the ERA, the Escarpment Repeater Association, amongst a few others. And what happens, John, VA3RQ, who you know very well from here, he's one of the guru coordinators that links all these repeaters together every Sunday night at 8 p.m. and Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Check around. I'm sure, Ward, is there a repeater? Bob is in Oshawa. Is there a repeater in the Oshawa area or near Toronto that he can?
I think it's the I think it's the RTR machine out in Coburg, or there's something up around Rice Lake. I know we've got it's usually 24 repeaters linked, so it does cover a large area. But we do get some stations coming in through YYZ, or they come through Rice Lake to the repeater in that area.
I have no, I can't tune those frequencies. I was hoping it was on HF, not on 80 or 40 or 70. This is strictly a
strictly VHF UHF network. It's if communications go down across the province, this is a network that we work in conjunction with the ECOM, Emergency Communications, ARES, ACS, Auxiliary Communication Services, and that it's a network where if all the municipalities and districts across, and it's used through the old ARES, so they'll call, Ward will start with the Algoma district, and he'll go alphabetically throughout and work his way across the province, and people in the, Capital Seaway district, people in Tecumseh, the Niagara Horseshoe, Killarney, Atikokan districts, and that he'll call them in that way. Yeah.
But there's
Is there
nothing.
anything around Owen Sound?
I'm sorry, Maureen?
Or anything for IRLP around Owen Sound area?
I think they go through LSR. I think that would probably be the closest. There was talk, I understand, of putting a repeater up in the Owen Sound or Wyerton area, but I'm not sure what is going on with that. Gary, VE3 Tango Tango Oscar, said they were working on that, but I haven't heard anything since.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, things have been kind of offset with this COVID. I know John hasn't been out able to get to some of the tower sites to update some of the equipment. However, if you have access to IRLP, so if there's an IRLP repeater, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's linked in. However, you can link it in Thursday and Sunday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 9055. 9055 is the reflector for the IRLP link, and connect it up that way, and away you go. You're now in the network system.
Yeah, and All-Star as well. If I think the All-Star computer was down for a couple of weeks. I'm not sure if it's back, but it's All-Star node 27288, and D-Star stations can connect the X-Ray Romeo Foxtrot 416 Alpha.
So you could check in on XRF 416 Alpha on your dongle, Maureen.
Okay, thank you.